An oil change should be the safest thing you ever do for your motorcycle. But for a lot of riders, it is the moment the damage quietly begins. Not because engines are weak, not because oil does not work, but because one small decision at the start sets the tone for everything that follows. In this video, you will see the exact pre-oil change routine experienced riders follow to protect engines that rev high, share oil with the gearbox and clutch, and do not forgive mistakes. Miss these steps and no upgrade later will save you. Get them right and your bike earns your respect for years. Let us start with the first step that matters most. Step 1. Never use a cheap oil change shop. Every year, thousands of motorcycle engines are destroyed by one simple mistake, an oil change done carelessly. Not a missed shift, not a redline pull, not a cross-country ride in August heat, an oil change. Picture this. You are an hour from home, open highway, the bike feels planted and calm. Then the throttle response softens. A faint tremor moves through the bars. The rear tire gives a brief, ugly skid, just enough to get your attention. You pull the clutch and coast to the shoulder. When the truck finally shows up, the driver drops the drain bolt and barely a thin stream runs out, almost dry. That failure did not begin on the road. It started inside a discount quick service shop. Motorcycles are nothing like cars. One shared lubricant protects the crankshaft, the transmission gears, and the wet clutch at the same time. The wrong formulation can make the clutch slip within miles. An overfill can foam the fluid and starve bearings at highway speed. An over-tightened drain bolt can crack a case that costs thousands to replace. Rushed labor, bulk barrels, air tools, no understanding of how a bike actually works. That is why experienced riders follow a rule that never changes. Never hand your motorcycle to a bargain oil counter. Either take it to a technician who works on motorcycles every day, or take control and handle it yourself. Because engines rarely die during the service, they fail because of what was ignored before it. And what most riders skip next is the step that determines whether the old oil actually leaves the engine or leaves the damage behind. If this already sounds like a step you have skipped before, hit the like button, drop a quick hype in the comments, and subscribe, because this commitment is exactly what keeps us bringing real-world motorcycle lessons instead of generic advice. Because next we move to the steps shops skip entirely, but your engine never forgets. Step 2. Warm the engine before draining. Before you reach for a wrench, do something most riders skip. Fire the bike up, let it idle long enough to smooth out, then take it around the block. Not a long ride, just enough time for the lubricant to circulate through the crank, the transmission shafts, and the clutch pack. Cold oil is sluggish. It settles low in the cases. It clings to gear teeth and hides in pockets where debris collects. Microscopic steel from normal wear. Fine friction material from the clutch. Residue you never see but your bearings feel. Drain it cold and a surprising amount stays behind. Bring it up to operating temperature and everything changes. The fluid thins. Contaminants suspend. When you remove the drain bolt, it pours out in a steady stream instead of thick drops. That short ride transforms a basic service into a true clean out. But do not rush it. After you park, give it a few minutes to cool so you are not handling scorching aluminum. And once the oil is flowing the way it should, the next step decides whether it works with your engine or against it. Step 3. Use the exact oil specifications. This is the step where riders swear they did everything right and still set themselves up for failure. They walk into a parts store, see a familiar brand, match the weight on the bottle, and call it done. That assumption ruins engines. Your motorcycle was designed around an exact lubricant profile, and the only reliable source is the owner manual. 3 specifications must match precisely. First is viscosity, such as 10W40 or 20W50. These engines spin at extremely high revolutions per minute. At those speeds, the oil film must stay stable under pressure. Too thin and protection breaks down. Too thick and flow becomes restricted when it matters most. Second is the API service category. That rating confirms the oil meets modern protection standards. Third, and most critical for many bikes, is the JASOMA or MA2 certification. Wet clutches share the same oil. Automotive blends with friction modifiers can trigger clutch, slip under load. Most motorcycles use a wet clutch bathed in engine oil. Automotive formulas often contain friction modifiers designed to reduce drag. In a bike, those additives can cause clutch slip under acceleration. It begins subtly. Higher revs, less drive, extra heat, rapid wear. And many riders replace clutch plates when the real culprit was inside the crankcase all along. Before every service, verify the exact viscosity, the correct API category, and JASOMA or MA2 if required. Not something similar, exact. Because in a motorcycle, oil is not just lubrication. Now, quick question for you. Have you ever experimented with oil grades, brands, or car oil just once? Drop your experience in the comments because real rider stories help everyone avoid expensive lessons. And that leads directly to the part most riders cheap out on, even though it filters everything. Step 4, use OEM or high-quality motorcycle oil filters. It is small, light, easy to overlook, and it may be the most important component in this entire service. Inside your motorcycle, that filter is the only barrier between circulating debris and precision metal surfaces spinning at extreme revolutions per minute. Every shift through the gearbox sheds microscopic steel. Every engagement of the wet clutch releases fine friction material. All of it travels in the same oil, protecting your crankshaft and cam bearings. Motorcycles punish filters harder than cars ever will. High revs, shared lubrication between engine and transmission, constant shear forces. Cheap filters look identical on the outside. Same threads, same gasket. But inside, the media can be thin and loosely packed, allowing smaller particles to continue cycling through the system. Over time, that steady abrasion wears journals and gear faces. Quality filters also contain properly calibrated bypass and anti-drainback valves to stabilize pressure during startup. The cost difference is minor. The protection difference is not, because next we are going to read the story your engine leaves behind every oil change. Step 5, inspect the oil you drain. When the drain bolt comes free, most riders stare at the stream for a second, then grab the next tool. That is a missed opportunity. What flows out of your engine is a report card. Catch it in a clean pan where you can actually see what you are dealing with. Let it settle, then look closely. Color comes first. Dark fluid is normal. It means the oil carried carbon and clutch residue the way it should. Now study the surface under good light. A smooth, uniform appearance is expected, but visible shimmer, flakes, or tiny chips tell a different story. A faint metallic sheen can signal accelerated wear inside the gearbox or bottom end. Move a little between your fingers. If it feels gritty, pay attention. Then take a quick smell. A harsh, burnt odor often suggests excessive heat or extended intervals. You are not diagnosing, you are observing, because the smallest clue here can prevent the largest repair later. And now that you know what is happening inside, the next step makes sure nothing fails the moment you ride away. Step 6, lubricate the oil filter gasket. This is the point where many riders mentally check out. The oil has drained. The new filter is in your hand. It feels routine from here. That assumption ruins engines. Before installing the new filter, inspect the mounting surface on the engine case. Make absolutely certain the old rubber gasket is not stuck there. When the old filter comes off, that thin ring can cling to the metal unnoticed. If the new filter is threaded on top of it, you now have two gaskets stacked together. When the engine starts, oil pressure rises within seconds. That double seal can shift, split, or blow out entirely. Oil loss can be rapid, and at road speed, you may not see it until the pressure light flickers. Next, coat the new filter gasket with a thin film of fresh oil. Dry rubber can grab, wrinkle, or bind as it tightens. A lightly lubricated seal compresses evenly and holds steady through heat and vibration. If you have dealt with this before, tell us what happened in the comments. Those real experiences help other riders avoid expensive mistakes. And if this breakdown is saving you time or money, hit the like button and subscribe, so we know this kind of rider first detail actually matters to you. Once the seal is protected, the next responsibility in this routine is making sure nothing is forced where precision is required. Step 7, replace the crush washer and use correct torque. At first glance, this step feels almost insultingly simple. A drain bolt, a washer, snug it down and move on. But this is one of the few moments during an oil change where a careless twist can cause permanent damage. Most motorcycle oil pans are aluminum, lightweight, efficient, and far softer than steel. The internal threads inside that drain opening do not tolerate abuse. That small ring under the bolt, the crush washer, is engineered to deform once. As you tighten the bolt, it compresses and fills microscopic gaps, forming the seal that keeps oil contained. Once flattened, it is finished. Reusing it invites slow seepage that may not show up until several rides later. Now consider torque. Too loose and heat plus vibration can work oil past the seal. Too tight and the aluminum threads stretch or strip. In severe cases, the pan fractures around the opening. Repairs can mean thread inserts or full replacement. Professionals rely on a torque wrench measured in pound-feet, not guesswork, because the next component demands even greater restraint. Step 8. Install the oil filter by hand. This is where routine turns into regret. The oil is in, the filter is threaded on, then out of habit, a rider grabs a wrench and gives it one extra pull, just to be sure. That extra pull is the mistake. An oil filter is not a structural fastener. It seals with a rubber gasket, not brute force. When the gasket meets the engine surface and you rotate the filter, it compresses and creates even pressure around the housing. It does not need muscle, it needs control. Over-tightening crushes the gasket beyond its design limit. That can distort the seal and actually increase the chance of leaks once oil pressure builds. It also turns the next service into a battle. Crushed housings, torn metal, stuck filters that refuse to budge. Manufacturers are clear. Spin it on by hand until the gasket touches, then tighten roughly 3/4 of a turn more. No wrench, because the next threat does not come from underneath the engine, it comes from above it. Step 9, clean the oil filler cap and neck. By now it feels finished. The drain bolt is torqued. The filter is seated. Fresh oil sits ready to be poured. But there is still one open door into the engine, the filler cap. Take a close look before you remove it. Around that cap is usually a faint ring of grime, road dust, chain fling, dried residue baked on by heat. It looks harmless until you twist the cap off. The instant it lifts, whatever was resting there gains direct access to the crankcase. And inside a motorcycle, oil does not serve one component. It bathes crankshaft bearings, cam lobes, transmission gears, and the wet clutch, all operating at extremely high revolutions per minute. Foreign particles in that environment become abrasive. Even fine dust can accelerate wear when circulated continuously through tight tolerances. Wipe the cap, clean the surrounding area, use a spotless funnel, because the next mistake is not about contamination, it is about quantity. Step 10, measure the exact oil amount. This is the false comfort zone. Many riders believe adding a little extra oil adds protection. It feels cautious, sensible. It is neither. In high-revving machines like the Yamaha YZF-R1 or the Honda CBR 600RR, the crankshaft spins inside a tight crankcase at extreme revolutions per minute. When the oil level rises too high, that spinning assembly slaps the surface of the oil and churns it violently. Liquid becomes foam. Foam cannot support load. Bearings rely on a stable, pressurized film of oil. When air mixes into that supply, the pump delivers aerated froth instead of a solid column. Pressure fluctuates. The protective layer weakens. There may be no warning light, no sudden noise, just accelerated wear building mile after mile. Check the sight glass or dipstick on level ground. Too little invites starvation. Too much causes aeration. Fill gradually, let it settle. Verify the level sits precisely within the marks. But pressure is invisible, and when it builds up behind seals, it silently pushes oil where it should not go. That is why the next step is all about breathing, making sure your engine can vent safely without destroying gaskets or leaking at high RPM. Step 11, inspect the crankcase breather system. This is the pressure control zone. Nothing snaps, nothing locks up. There is no dramatic roadside failure. This is where damage develops quietly. Every combustion cycle forces a small amount of gas past the piston rings. That blow-by enters the crankcase and builds internal pressure. The breather system is designed to vent that pressure in a controlled way, maintaining balance inside the engine. But short rides change the equation. If most trips last 10 or 15 minutes, heat never fully evaporates moisture. Condensation mixes with oil vapor and slowly forms sludge. That buildup collects inside breather hoses and valves, restricting airflow. Pressure begins to linger, and pressure does not stay contained. Instead, it pushes oil past the weakest seal, valve cover gaskets, countershaft seals, clutch push rod seals. What looks like random seepage is often trapped crankcase pressure forcing its way out. Inspect the hose, check for blockage. Ensure airflow moves freely. If you have ever noticed oil leaking from seals or gaskets unexpectedly after an oil change, drop a comment below. Tell us, was it after a home oil change or a shop visit? Sharing your story helps other riders avoid the same silent killer. And the next step is about keeping the lungs of your motorcycle clean. Step 12, check the air filter. This is where most riders think the oil change is complete. Fresh oil is in, the filter is tight, job done. Not quite. Lubrication does not work alone. Your motorcycle engine is constantly inhaling air, mixing it with fuel, igniting it, and repeating that violent cycle thousands of times every minute. The oil job is to survive that environment. Now restrict the airflow. A dirty air filter rarely looks dramatic. It just appears dusty, slightly dark, easy to dismiss. But when airflow drops, the mixture runs rich, extra fuel, less oxygen. Combustion loses efficiency, power softens subtly, often without obvious warning. Inside the combustion chamber, carbon begins to accumulate. Deposits cling to piston crowns and valve faces. Temperatures rise. Elevated heat thins the oil film you just installed, weakening its ability to shield bearings and cam surfaces. Restricted intake flow also increases vacuum, pulling more vapor through the breather system and accelerating contamination. Hold the filter toward a light source. If light struggles to pass evenly, air does too. And with airflow confirmed, there is only one way to know everything worked, and the next step is where mistakes finally reveal themselves. Step 13, final oil level check and leak inspection. Up to this point, everything has been preparation. Now you confirm, after filling the crankcase and running the engine long enough to circulate oil through the filter and internal passages, shut it down. Then wait, not a few seconds. Give it several minutes on perfectly level ground. That detail matters. A motorcycle leaning on its side stand can distort the sight glass, reading just enough to fool you. If the manual requires an upright check, hold the bike vertical or use a rear stand. Inside the engine, oil that was thrown across camshafts and cylinder walls is draining back into the sump. Only after it settles do you get a truthful level. Check the sight glass or dipstick correctly. The oil should rest between the marks, centered and stable. Then inspect the drain bolt and filter housing closely. Look for a faint sheen or forming droplet, because once the hardware is verified, the final risk is human memory. You might have done everything right, and yet if your reminders are off, your next oil change might come too late. Tracking service intervals ensures longevity, protecting you from silent wear over months or years. Do you like this video? Click that like button, and if you want to support us even more, become a member. Have early access to the newest videos. The next step is procedural, but absolutely crucial for consistent care. Step 14, reset the service indicator. This is where responsibility replaces wrench work. The oil is fresh, the filter is sealed. Now you guard that effort with discipline. Many modern motorcycles monitor service intervals electronically. Whether you ride a BMW S 1000RR or a Kawasaki Ninja 650, that reminder is more than a suggestion. It tracks heat cycles, load, and accumulated operating time. Ignore it, and the system cannot warn you when protection begins to fade. Reset it correctly. Confirm the new interval is active on the dash. If your motorcycle lacks an electronic reminder, then you become the tracking system. Record the mileage. Note the date. Document the oil brand and filter model. Store it in your phone or maintenance log. Oil does not fail overnight. It weakens gradually. Additives deplete. Shear stability declines with every gear change. When service history becomes a guess, wear accelerates silently. Engines do not forget. They accumulate. Reset the service indicator properly. Confirm the new interval is set. Double-check the dash. Then document the mileage before you roll away. This is not paperwork. It is ownership maturity. Routine creates protection. Protection creates longevity. With the routine complete, it is time to address the advice that sounds helpful, but can quietly destroy engines. Step 15, engine flush myth. This is where experience corrects bad advice. You have heard it before. Run a flush before every oil change. It cleans everything out. It sounds proactive, responsible, almost professional. In severely neglected automotive engines with visible sludge, a carefully selected flush can sometimes help. That is the fair, balanced truth. But motorcycles operate under different stresses. They spin at extremely high revolutions per minute. They rely on narrow oil passages. Most share the same lubricant between the crankshaft, transmission gears, and wet clutch. A chemical flush works by thinning the oil and loosening deposits. If buildup exists, it does not vanish. It breaks free and circulates. Those particles can move through tight galleries, pass across bearing surfaces, or interfere with clutch friction material. In a compact high-speed system, margin for error is minimal. A properly maintained motorcycle engine does not require routine flushing. Modern oils already contain detergent packages designed to hold contaminants in suspension until the next service interval. In many cases, restraint is the wiser protection. You have now seen the complete process that safeguards a motorcycle engine, from selecting who performs the service, to warming the engine correctly, choosing the precise oil and filter, inspecting ventilation systems, verifying levels, and documenting the interval. Each action reinforces the next, preventing gradual wear, clutch degradation, and preventable failure. If you value precise, experience-based maintenance guidance, show your support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. That support allows us to continue producing detailed, rider-focused content. For those who want deeper access, membership provides early releases and advanced service insights designed to protect both your machine and your budget. If this video has already saved you from a potential engine disaster or helped you avoid costly mistakes, do not stop here. Click the next video to continue the road trip and uncover the next crucial routine that every motorcycle rider should master. Join our tribe by subscribing, ride smarter, maintain better, and protect your bike. And do not forget, like this video, because every click shows the algorithm that riders like you value high-quality advice.